Today I'm going to break down how you can yield farm for cryptocurrency passive income, basically earning income on your already existing crypto assets. Let's dive right in. So we're going to be going start to finish exactly what you need to do to open up your first yield farm and start earning income on that position. So the first thing that you need to do is obviously identify the different assets that you want to yield farm for. Now what I would do is I would start by going over to CoinGecko and just finding assets that I believe in by analyzing them and conducting due diligence. And you most likely already have a load of cryptocurrency assets in your wallet, but if you don't, CoinGecko is a great place to start. Now one of the ones that I'm personally pretty bullish on is Overnight Finance Token, otherwise known as OVN token. And if we were to zoom out over the past 3 months, you can see that OVN has had a pretty rough 3 months. If we were to zoom out to the past year, you could see that it peaked at an all-time high of nearly $100, and it's currently sitting at roughly $46. Now this is not a bad thing, considering that the overall crypto market has been tanking the past couple months and just recently started going back up. That means that altcoins got hit pretty hard a couple months back, but now altcoins are starting to slowly recover, and we can get in at a very good price in certain specific altcoins. Now that's not me going and telling you to just throw all your money in this overnight finance token or an overnight finance liquidity pool, because you most definitely should not do that. You should obviously conduct your own due diligence and make your own opinions on if this is an asset that you should invest into. But after I've identified the assets that I want to invest into, I'm going to head over to DeFi Llama and go to the yield section. And over here in DeFi Llama, we can type in OVN token and look for different liquidity pools and yield farms that include OVN token in them. And you can see that some of these have a very high APY. Some going all the way up past 1,000%. Obviously, we're gonna have to dive deeper into these to make sure that they are actually legit and see kind of what risks we are taking on. But for the most part, we can get a pretty high return on OVN token. Now we can also head over to a website called vfat.io, vfat.io, and then go over to the yield section. And once we are here, we can search for OVN token, and that's just gonna show us OVN positions over here. We have OVN to USD Plus over on Aerodrome, which is doing an APR of roughly 265%. And then we have Arrow to OVN over here on Aerodrome, which is doing roughly a 61% APR. The best part is you're going to see this APY, and that's a substantially higher number. Basically, this is what happens if we were to automatically compound our position. So I'm going to keep these in mind, but the first thing I want to do is obviously cross-analyze what I'm seeing over on DeFi Llama compared to what I see over on VFAT, because I only see 2 opportunities on VFAT, but I see a lot over on DeFi Llama. So the first thing I'm going to do is just open up these different platforms. We see Aerodrome, Extra Finance, and Beefy. So over on the Aerodrome website, I'm going to head over to liquidity, and I am going to search for OVN, and this is going to show me different OVN liquidity pools. And just like we saw over on VFAT, we actually have OVN to USD Plus at 267% APR. So that lines up, and remember that other APY is actually if we were to compound the position. And then we have the Arrow to OVN position. Now me personally, I'm not too interested in Arrow to OVN. I'd be more interested in something like OVN to USD Plus. Now the next thing that we need to do is identify what USD Plus actually is. Now I personally already know what USD Plus actually is, but I'm going to explain it. We would normally go over to CoinGecko and just type in that asset, and it would pull up on CoinGecko, and we would be able to analyze what USD Plus actually is. Well, USD Plus is actually the stablecoin in the overnight finance ecosystem, and it's backed by other cryptocurrency stablecoins like USDC, USDT, DAI, and other blue chip stablecoins. But instead of them just holding those stablecoins, they're going and they're throwing them into yield bearing positions that are earning them income, which means that USD Plus, by just holding it in your wallet, you are earning roughly 10% per year. And that's because they have stablecoins deployed into different positions. So obviously, assuming that you are okay taking on exposure to OVN token as well as USD Plus, then this would definitely be a liquidity pool that you want to consider deploying into. But we need to see the best options for deploying into this liquidity pool, because it seems like not only can we deploy into this Aerodrome liquidity pool, we could go and deploy into the same liquidity pool OVN to USD Plus, but on Extra Finance under the farm section, where we can basically take on leverage. Or we could go over to Beefy Finance and deploy into the same liquidity pool where it'll automatically compound for us. Or we can go and deploy into it over on VFAT, where it's also going to automatically compound for us. So let's first look at Extra Finance, because this has the highest APY. It's showing from 12.76% to 37.44%, which is obviously absolutely crazy. And keep in mind, that is APY, not APR. So that's assuming you left it in here for 1 year and everything were compounded and the yield were to stay the same. So the first thing that I want to do is go over to this OVN to USD Plus position and just hit farm. And once we're here, we can decide the assets that we are going to deposit. Let's just say I wanted to deposit 1,000 USD Plus. I would go over here to this leverage section, and I can start to leverage up on OVN to USD Plus. Now I have a couple different options right here. I can change my leverage, so the amount of leverage that I actually want to use in this position, and I can also change the assets I want to borrow. So here's the thing. If I were to go ahead and adjust this to borrow OVN, because maybe I want to short my OVN exposure. Let's say I were to do 2x leverage over on this position, you can see I have no OVN exposure and I only have USD Plus exposure, which basically means that I am market neutral at the time of entering. Well, I can't actually execute that strategy because because, well, guess what? The utilization for this position is fully filled. So if we were to go and take a look over at USD Plus as well, once again, utilization is fully filled. So we cannot leverage up on this strategy at the moment because there are not enough people lending their assets in the lend section of Extra Finance for the borrowers or the people over in the farm section to actually borrow. So what does that mean? Well, that basically means that we need to go ahead and close out Extra Finance because we are not going to be able to deploy into that position right now. The next one that I'm going to be taking a look at is DeFi Finance. This is showing a 1000% APY. The next thing that I want to do is look at the APY over time. I'm going to look at the 1 month APY, and you could see it was pretty consistent around 700%, and it went all the way down to 370%, and it started climbing back up to 800% and peaked at roughly 2500% before going back down to where it's currently at roughly 1000%. Now keep in mind, this is all determined based on the underlying APR of Aerodrome position OV into USD Plus. But I'm seeing a 1290% APY over on VFAT, and I know a lot of people recently have also been deploying into VFAT, so this is something that I would want to consider deploying into over DeFi Finance in my personal opinion. Now here's the other thing, I could deploy a portion of the portfolio into VFAT and then a portion of the portfolio into DeFi Finance. And the reason why I would want to do that is to see which one's going to be better, and then from there actually deploy into the better one and reallocate the full amount of capital. And the next thing I'm going to do is just make sure that there are no other positions that I'm missing out on here. Obviously, we took a look at Aerodrome, Extra Finance, DeFi Finance. We haven't quite taken a look at Harvest Finance, but it's displaying roughly a 940% APY. And all these other positions have lower amounts of TVL, including Harvest Finance, so I probably wouldn't want to deploy my capital into it. The next thing I'm going to do is head over to the actual pool over on Aerodrome, and it's going to pop open the yield section where I'm able to see the yield over time. What we really want to pay attention to is the OV into USD Plus APY over time, and as you can see, it does have some pretty large fluctuations, and as TVL increases, obviously APY declines a little bit, and the reason why is because obviously there's more people in the pool and there's the same amount of capital to split amongst more people basically and more dollars. Now something I want to go and mention about OVN token, and this goes for all different cryptocurrencies out there, is it's actually somewhat inflationary. When I say inflationary, it does have a total supply of roughly 1 million tokens, and that's fixed basically, but still a portion of the supply, 33.5%, has been reserved for the team and pre-seed investors, and those tokens are vested over 30 months from release, which means that slowly more and more tokens are going to be put into circulation, meaning that the team as well as pre-seed investors can sell off those tokens if they wish to do so. And I'm not saying that they are going to, but of course teams have to operate, investors have to make money, otherwise they're not going to invest or build projects. And ultimately when people start selling cryptocurrencies, that's when the price starts to go down. And if we were to look at the price of Overnight Finance token over the past 3 months, you can see there are some large dips that just go from $64 all the way down to $38, or go from $54 all the way down to $30, so on and so forth basically. These large dips could be pre-seed investors or even early investors in OVN token selling off these tokens because they're now at a great profit. And the thing is, that's going to happen no matter what you invest into, and if you just hold your money in the US bank, well then of course you're going to have roughly 8% inflation on your dollars. And that's exactly why yield farming with your cryptocurrency assets is good. If you're not yield farming with your cryptocurrency assets, well then what will end up happening is you're just holding them, they'll eventually start to fall down in price, and you won't be able to recover any of your capital because they put more tokens in circulation, and it's harder for them to get to all-time highs. A prime example of this is going to be Solana token. If we were to look at the max chart of Solana token, you could see it peaked all the way over here at over $250 as an all-time high. But what if I told you Solana's all-time high was actually over here at $200? You'd probably say that I'm wrong, but if we take a look at the market cap of Solana, which represents the total amount of money invested into Solana, you could see that it's quite the opposite. The market cap peaked all the way over here at $90 billion, whereas over here when Solana was worth $250, the market was just shy of $80 billion. That's because a substantial amount of Solana tokens have been put in circulation since this previous November 2021 all-time high. So obviously it doesn't look like it hit an all-time high recently, but in reality it actually did. And you can also see that by seeing that the max supply of Solana token is infinite. And that's not to say Solana is a bad token or it's not sustainable, it's just something to keep in mind. And by yield farming with Solana token, if you invested at $250, if Solana were to go back to $200, obviously your principal assets haven't returned to their initial value, but if you're yield farming, you're continuously building up your position, then yes, you can come out to an overall profit. Now, if you're looking to take your yield farming portfolio to the next level and have a team partner with you to help you build and scale your DeFi portfolio to help you achieve your financial goals, that's exactly what we do here at my company, Builder Wealth. Now, not only are you going to be able to partner with us, you're going to be able to bounce ideas off of and be held accountable by over 100 plus individuals in my community that have gone through this exact same process. I built out a strategy that has allowed me to make roughly $5,000 per month, and over the past 3 years, 50 to 150% APR on my assets. So while everybody else was investing into Ponzi schemes, I was investing into actual yield farming farming and liquidity mining positions. Obviously, that helped me a lot during the bear market because I didn't witness huge losses like everybody else did, but also it helped me out a lot during the bull market because I was able to increase my overall holdings of these assets to build up my portfolio and ultimately see way bigger returns than most people. So with that being said, if you guys are interested in applying to join my community and work with me and my team, I'm going to leave a link down below in the description to a quick little presentation I made that you can take a look at. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and if you did, drop a like and subscribe, notifications turned on. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.